Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Haynes, and it is a delight to be talking about romance books and book covers and how we in the industry are stylists for this genre and also for just storytelling genre in general from a narrator's perspective and from a writer and photographer's perspective and a model's perspective. So I am here with a very accomplished photographer and author, Golden Czernak. And to start, I thought it'd be fun for us to see how did one get into this? Because when I talk
Yeah.
about what I do for a living,
Mhm.
the first thing that people say is cool, and then it tends to be followed by how'd you get into that? And
Right.
usually it's a long and winding road, or sometimes a road that is short, with that gets me into this work, but it was a road
Right.
that I didn't anticipate, you know?
Agreed. I can agree with you there, yeah, for sure.
So Golden, tell me about how you got into the world of essentially novel storytelling as an image maker and as a writer.
Oh, certainly. Well, one, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate that. And I guess I could start at the beginning. 2012 is when I actually officially entered the fray, so to speak. And I came from the corporate world. So I was worked as a defense contractor in corporate America up until 2014, in fact. But in 2012, I started doing graphic design more and more as a hobby as well as photography, and it was kind of my release. I have a chemical engineering degree, so it's kind of like, what is he doing now with that? Taking pictures of dudes for romance covers. It's like you said, one of those paths that you didn't expect it to enter, especially back then. So what had happened was I started the business, and I was working weekends primarily because of the corporate job and doing all those things. And I had the nice camera, so I was doing a lot of family pictures, a lot of senior portraits and weddings and things like that, the traditional stuff that happens. And then one day I got an email from a friend of mine who owns a nutrition store in town, and that also started my fitness journey, which is a whole other topic as well. But he had asked for some advertising photos to be taken of some clients for his business. So I took some of those, and I was like, oh wow, this is really interesting work. Seeing the benefits of that through your work on billboards and stuff like that was nice. So it kind of fueled me a little more. And so I was taking more pictures of his clients and their friends, so to speak, at the gym and stuff like that. And then by that December, this was in August, by that December, I got a note from an author in my inbox asking if I did book covers because she wanted a custom book cover done. She couldn't find the right stock picture at the time, and asked if I could do some work for her. For first, I was like, sure. Had no idea what to do, what the pricing was, none of that at that time. It was like a scramble to pull a lot of stuff together. But we met that December and shot my first ever custom shoot as well as my first ever book cover photos in December 2012. And then from there, it just kind of exploded. Social media at the time was a lot different than it is now, especially on Facebook. Everything was more organic instead of like ads and boosts and stuff like that. And so things just went viral for me. And I was lucky in that regard because my following grew. And so I would get more and more inquiries and stuff like that for work. And things just exploded to the point where I could leave my corporate job in 2014. And I've been doing this ever since. So I've been blessed, knock on wood, that continues. But it's been an adventure for sure. But that's where I started back as a former chemical engineer, now taking pictures of shirtless men for book covers.
Uh-huh. And this was what strikes me is that this was around 2014 when everything started to come together in this new direction. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Because actually that's the year that for me likewise a lot of this
Oh
started
wow.
coming together in my
Hmm.
career as a narrator. Now I'd been working I'd been trained in working as an actor for about 20 years before then,
Hmm.
and this idea of, oh, a person could do audiobooks, narrate audiobooks, and it's essentially a one actor showcase of all the different storytelling skills that I've learned and picked up and practiced over
Right.
these years,
Hmm.
or even decades. And I am in complete control of my schedule.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. It's like, what is this? Freedom?
yeah,
What?
yeah, it's just the best. And then all these opportunities to sink my teeth even deeper into things that I've always loved, which is accent work
Oh
and
yeah.
different storytelling tones and styles, and essentially getting to be, the director as well as the actor in terms of self-directing my performance and such.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's been, it's again, it's just been one of those things where I turned around and was just thinking, wow, this, you know, um, I had not considered myself a romance guy
Hmm.
when I got into the genre, um, and what I was surprised by is, first of all, how welcoming the readers were in terms of
Oh,
my voice.
absolutely.
My voice being the voice for these serialized books,
Hmm.
which was a thrill. What an exciting thing also to get to do serials and to
Oh
be
yeah.
able to track the characters as they go along and mark how they change, and also these new characters who previously were side characters. Now they've got their own books, so I get to dig into those even
Oh
more.
yeah. That's great.
What are some discoveries that you've made in terms of what you enjoy about romance photography, book design, and writing?
Well, I would say initially, like I had mentioned, I had started in that whole stiff wedding slash senior portrait world of photography, and it's just very structured. You do this, you do that, and that's about it. But the ability to create stories through images and emotions is where I think I learned best, and learned certain poses, certain actions, certain expressions, where you have your voice to kind of communicate that. I've got people's eyes to kind of look at the image. And my goal every shoot is to try to take, even though they're kind of, some of them are kind of standard stockish photos, but I want to try to get emotions across in those that you
Mm,
don't typically find in romancy book cover stock photos that you find online. They're more posed, but I like to try to get the real emotion through.
mm.
And so it's just a matter of trying to condense all that into a shot. And that's been one of my ultimate goals for each shoot. Some more successful than others, depending on circumstances and things like that. But I think the ability to create stories through a single image is where I learned, and I am trying to hone into to get better and better at doing that, which then in turn translated into my writing, because I'm a very visual writer. People who have read my stuff say that it's like reading a movie, or reading a television show. There's details there that they can kind of actually picture the world that they're in. I like world building a lot, so that's a key thing for me to do in that. So I want to make sure that all the details are there, not too much, because you can get kind of buried in your own words at times, but it's fun to create. And my notes are just massively extensive. Obviously, you got to pare it down, but that I think lends well to each other, which in turn goes into the third thing of the cover design, where it all this synergizes into, okay, you want to get this across for this story. There are genre tropes that you've got to meet, but you've got to mesh all those things together and put your own spin on it. I think that's where I have come together as a brand, and I think that pushing that forward has been one of my key things and key developments that I've learned over the years.
And isn't it just bliss to have parameters to work with,
Mm-hmm.
and to know that certain things are going to be successful if you have the discipline to follow them,
Absolutely.
and at the same time the freedoms that those parameters can give, because then it's like, oh, there's all sorts of things that I can do with this. It's very similar for me, I find, when I'm narrating books, which is, okay, my job primarily as the narrator is to read the book for the listener. So
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, it's a very simple job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then there is, okay, how do I best find my way into this? What do these characters remind me of?
Mm-hmm.
And what sort of voices are in my head and also in my instrument that I can
Right.
bring forward with this, in a way that really grounds me and that really seems to bring the story forward even more. And it's just it's so much fun. Particularly, what I love about doing romance is the importance of making choices and sticking with them with conviction, not playing it cool, not play like you said with the cover models, not
Hmm.
playing it cool, not playing it standard and removed, but because there's so much heart in
Hmm.
romance, and so much commitment that's required, and so
Right.
much zest, in terms of the genre and in terms of the furious pace at which romance writers produce their work.
Oh gosh, yeah,
It's just like, okay, bold choices. What are the bold
absolutely.
choices that I can make in terms of committing to this scene, in terms of committing to this character? That is just so much fun for me.